Hi everybody, it's Janine Ogden, the Home Cakery Coach. This is the first video of the 5-day Get Legal workshop. In this video I'm covering permission to trade. Okay, straight to it. To trade from your home, you need to consider that it's not just your property. If you're renting, you need to notify your landlord or your local council if it's a council house. Most tenancy agreements will have a standard clause in there saying that you're not allowed to run a business from the property. However, in most circumstances, they can't really refuse your permission. But please bear in mind that the property doesn't belong to you. And if you're going to go against the wishes of your landlord, you're probably going to jeopardise your future in the property. They're not going to favour you. They could actually take you to court for breach of your tenancy agreement. So just be aware of that. They can refuse permission under a number of circumstances, including nuisance to your neighbours, whether that be noise, footfall, parking, the smell of baking, all these especially at unsociable hours. Also, like excessive wear and tear to your property. If your carpets are going to be ruined, you're going to need to redecorate more because you're cleaning more, so you're ruining your paintwork, for example. Right. Also, if it's going to look like a commercial let, you have to bear in mind your landlord's insurance might get a bit stroppy. For example, they're not going to want you to have a walk-in freezer in your dining room. They're not going to want any signage up there. 3-phase electrics, commercial ovens, if you're putting any extra sinks in or anything. You've got to bear in mind that at some point in the future, there might be a resale or a relet of your property. So anything that you've done not structurally, but if you have fitted extra sinks, for example, it might hamper their ability to resell or relet that property. So if they are a bit unsure, try and look at ways that you might be able to compromise. For example, if they're worried about fire risk, having your oven on more, you can actually outsource your baking. You could get someone else to supply your sponges. Also, then the mixers are not running noisily at all hours. You could keep your mixers running at the opposite side of the house to where your neighbours are. Then your neighbours are not going to complain so much about the noise from them. Let me have a look. Could you just offer delivery? For example, so you don't get 30 people knocking on your door Christmas Eve. If you just do deliveries, you're just going to load up your car and go out on your round. So the neighbours are not going to be as aware of that as knock, 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 constant cars across the drive and the like. Also sticking to daylight hours for your baking as well as collections. It's always the best anyway to preserve your sanity, to be fair. Right, if you own your property outright, you still need to be aware that in your deeds there may be something called a restrictive covenant regarding the use of the property. You might not actually be allowed to use it for business use. This information, it will be on your deeds, it'll be on maybe your house purchase documents, certainly land registry will have that. I'm just flipping over my little script here. Right, so if you've got a mortgage, you need to phone your mortgage provider. Just have a chat with them. Please be respectful of the fact that the mortgage provider, they have lent you thousands and thousands of pounds to buy your house. So they need to protect their investment. They've got every right to protect their investment. They need to know if the business will affect the resale value of the property, if it'll affect the actual building. If you are knocking a wall down to make your kitchen bigger, for example, they need to know all that sort of stuff. Just have a chat with them. At the bare minimum, they might just want you to up your insurance. But the worst case scenario is that you might be in breach of your mortgage, and they could cancel your mortgage and you'll have to find a mortgage quick. So just please be aware of that. You don't want to end up in court by going against the wishes of your mortgage company. That also brings me to insurance. You need to call your buildings and contents provider, let them know what you're thinking about doing, and they'll talk you through it. Each one has a different way of dealing with things. Some are just tick a box, others might want you to up your insurance and pay a lot more. You literally don't know until you ring them. They'll probably insist that just a small part of the property is used for business use. You will also need to sort out your liability insurance and your vehicle insurance, but I do cover that in a couple of days. I'll be doing an insurance video covering all to do with your other insurances. Right, if you're going to be running quite a large operation, if you're going to be converting a garage, if you're going to be doing any works that are affecting the fabric or the main use of your house, you'll need to speak to your local council's planning department. Just Google the name of your local council followed by planning, and it should bring up the contact details. You don't need to commit to anything. Phone them up, tell them what you're thinking of, and they'll just guide you through anything that you'll need to know about. Most small home cake businesses, you won't need to worry about planning. As I say, it's unless you're changing the use of the property, the main use of the property, or you're making any structural alterations. Right, business rates might be applicable under circumstances such as if you employ staff or if you have extra footfall to your property. You might be classed as a business premises, so you might have to pay business rates. I will pop the link with this video to the valuations office agency that will just talk you through that, whether that would be applicable to your circumstances. Right, so to recap, essentially your home, it has to remain mainly a home. If you take over large parts of it with storage or work areas, if you've got a lot of cars, delivery vehicles coming to and from, that's when it starts to get complicated. So your action tasks for this video: ring your landlord or mortgage company, consult land registry if you own your own home, have a chat with your insurance company, and if you're making big changes to the fabric or the use of your property, you need to speak to the planning department at your local council, and contact the valuations office agency, the link I'll give you, if you're going to be employing staff or having a lot of visitors. Right, so I will post all of this below. So that's your first steps. Tomorrow I will be covering your business name, choosing your business name, the legalities, some advice I've got to give you for it. I'll link to that video below this if you're catching up later and you're watching them in succession. The link to the next video will be in the comments for this video. All right, thank you.